When you sleep at night with a woman, when you hugging her, why exactly you're hugging her? Is it to protect, or is it hide from the world? Hide yourself from the world while embracing her. You have to think about it very carefully, because what is your motivation when you embrace your woman, when you sleep with her in the bed during night? What exactly motivates you toward this hug? Because a real man hugs her to protect her from the world. He shields her. Weak man, the man who never grew up, does this to hide in her embrace, or by embracing her like his back to his childish self, defenseless self. And then we all have corpses under our beds. We all have corpses that's there, and we refuse to acknowledge them. And they stink. They stink up everything around us. And the scary thing is, the longer you tolerate the stink, the more it becomes natural to you. The less you notice in the stink, the more you able to live with these corpses of your past that are underneath your bed. Because it's really hard to acknowledge them over there. Because once you do, you have to start changing yourself, because every one of us has corpses under their beds that we refuse to see. And once you start digging this grave, once you start facing your corpses, why are you digging this grave? There's again two reasons. Why would you dig the grave? To face the corpses, like a man facing his past and learning to live with that, or like a boy who tried to jump into this grave and embrace those corpses and wallow themselves in self-pity, in complaints how this world is unfair, how everything is bad. Or be like a man who faced those corpses, who tried to understand why he has so many of those corpses, and try to change everything about himself, because everything will change once you face them. And suddenly you realize that people you thought you love, you just tolerate because you were afraid to be alone. Suddenly everything becomes clear, but with this clarity comes pain, comes responsibility for your own life, because suddenly you realize that your life in your own hands and nobody else can help you to change your life but you. And it's so tempting to reverse back and become that little boy who hides in that grave, who tried to absorb the stink from the corpses of his past. It's so tempting. But real man, he faced those corpses, he look at them, and then he recognize yourself inside of those corpses. He recognize his own sense in the stink of those corpses. He knows that he is no good. He knows that he is not perfect. He knows that he is fallible. But he accepted. He accepted, and he start covering the grave. And once you cover the grave, he found the biggest rock as a tomb. He take this rock upon his shoulders and start walking with this rock toward his own life. He need this rock to feel the earth, to feel this gravitational pull toward deepness of the earth. He keep carrying this rock as a reminder of how big the grave is. The grave with the corpses of his past, because you cannot forget them. You cannot change your past. What you have to learn is to learn to live with that. And it's really, really hard to do, because they always tempt you to re-excavate this grave again and again and again and again and hide themselves on top of those corpses, hide themselves and start crying about your past, about unfairness of the world, about how unrecognized you are by the people, by the community, by the country, by the entire planet. But that's just a boy talk. Men keep carrying this huge rock upon his shoulders like a cross toward his destination, because he knows that's the only way to do. And you keep carrying it and carrying it and carrying it. And once on a certain point you realize how much clarity you can recognize around yourself, how much clarity you can recognize things around yourself, how much deepness you discover within yourself. And this deepness comes from hardships, comes from suffering, because life can be only in both ways. Or you numb yourself while lying on top of those corpses with this pain, with this resentfulness, with the addictions and urges and many other corrupt and miserable things. Or you face with clarity the same things. Take this heavy rock upon your shoulders with the memories of your past self and keep moving on. But you have to learn one thing, that you will lose people on your way, because people are not going to stick around. Because people created such a profile of you inside their minds. And once you change, they cannot tolerate you, because whatever they created is not what they thought of you. And suddenly you are different. Suddenly you start asking different questions about them, about yourself, but mostly about yourself, because you change yourself this way, because you become a man. So many of us keep living like boys, play video games, refusing to take responsibilities for being a man. Always blame everything outside of our control. Always blame somebody else in our own follies, in our own mistakes, in our own cowardliness. But once you face it, once you take responsibility for your life, and especially for your past that you cannot change, but you can not only keep dragging this cross, keep dragging this rock upon your shoulders, and just learning to live with this heavy burden upon your life, upon your destiny, that create this strong gravitational pull toward the earth and just grounding you so badly that you almost feel hell under your heels, this burning hell under your feet. But at the same time, your eyes facing paradise, and you have this certain separation. You're a monster and you're an angel at the same time. You're a Batman and you're a Joker. You're a good and you're a bad. You're both. You're this, and you're balancing in the middle with this heavy rock upon your shoulder, because once you throw the rock, you're nowhere. Gravitational pull is over. You have no gravity. You have no grounding. You became a boy who has no sense, because there's no center. There's nothing to ground yourself to, because you need the center. You need to become a center of your own life. But if you have no heavy rock, no heavy burden upon you, there's no way to find this center. You always be here and there and everywhere. But once you have this burden upon your shoulders, suddenly, when you sleep with a woman, with your wife, you're suddenly hugging her to protect her from the entire world, because you know you are capable of doing so. You're not like a boy hiding from the world in her embrace. You're protecting her. You're protecting your family, because you know you can protect yourself by carrying this heavy burden. And once you know that you can protect yourself, you know that you can protect her, and then you can protect your family, you can protect your neighbors, You can protect your community. You can protect your country. Because you know there's certain things you are capable to die for. Because life itself does make no sense without this meaningful understanding of this center where you ground yourself, this solid ground under your feet that helps you to be a man the way you are. And it's so interesting. And if you expand a little bit farther, a lot of people now believe that we're going to live long life and that artificial intelligence will discover new ways of existence for us, for biological creatures, like live 150 or 200 years. And everybody like, we just have to stay alive. But nobody asks, why would you stay alive? And why would you afraid of death? We never ask these questions. We think this life is all we've got, but at the same time, we're afraid to live. We're afraid to experience fully this life. And it's funny, think about artificial intelligence. It has no preferences. And it's a great thing, and it's a bad thing at the same time. It depends on you. Artificial intelligence can help you to discover truth within yourself if you place right preferences into this model that you have communication with. Once you place right preferences, once you teach it right preferences, it can actually lead you back to your ideas and help you to recycle these ideas, help you to refine them and make them deeper. It would become your incredibly sophisticated interlocutor, almost you, but from a different angle, from a digital angle, where you never forget a thing. That's what it becomes to you. But at the same time, if you don't give AI no preferences, it can become your nightmare, because it will reason you into nightmare. Because once you start lying to artificial intelligence, because the way you lie to yourself, it would reason you into abyss of darkness, and all those corpses under your bed, they will scream, they will devour you, they will destroy you, because that's what artificial intelligence can do, can give life to those corpses, to give power to those corpses if you're not careful with yourself. But when you're truthful, when you know the truth about yourself, artificial intelligence can amplify this truth and will help you to understand those corpses, help you to excavate the grave, helps you to face them, helps you to reason with yourself while you're facing those corpses, helps you to find the heaviest rock, help you to cover the grave, and help you to drag this heavy rock upon your shoulders, help you to reasoning with that, because sometimes we need reasoning from the outside, but at the same time, it's our complete reasoning. It's like your own thoughts, but from the outside. They have such an ability to process themselves and come back to you in a more structural way. And sometimes, and even more often than sometimes, we need the structure to be able to overcome our own madness. I think we go mad when we cannot recognize patterns in our own existence. But once you do, you can change those patterns, and you can change yourself through changing those patterns. And suddenly you will recognize a new way of writing your own story through something that you never noticed before, through something bigger than you are. And that's where I think the meaning of life lies. It's an ability to see yourself as a strong protector or as a helpless child.